You can grab
Hi. Hey, we are recording. Hello, everybody.
Hello.
Hello. Big Girl Pants podcast. It's so good to see everyone. So we have some fun guests with us today. April, you want to share a little bit about them and how you know them?
Yes. So I am so excited about this episode because TJ and Gabby are personal friends of mine. I met them when I went on vacation in St. Thomas in 2018. They own Abounader. Is that right?
Yes.
Abounader Fitness in the Virgin Islands. And while I was there, you would be amazed. It was a struggle because, like, for someone that had never been to St. Thomas before, had never been on the Virgin Islands before, I was like, oh my gosh, I'm going to be here for a week. Where am I going to work out? And we went to this one really bad gym, and then we found this gym right next to the coffee shop, and it was like a game changer. I was so excited because we could be there for a week. We got a guest pass. We could work out. They had all the equipment that we needed. And it turned out that Destination, we actually had the owner of Destination on our podcast too. He has people that trained at his gym that have been to Abounader Fitness too.
Wow.
So it was like just one huge small world.
And your name, you guys individually, what are your names?
I'm Gabby. And this
TJ. TJ Thomas James.
And you guys are married now, right?
Living the dream.
The dream.
Holy cow. Like, not only are you entrepreneurs and own your own gym, you're living in the Virgin Islands. I think this podcast is over. I don't want to talk to you anymore.
I know.
You were too kind.
That's awesome. Now, did you guys, are you from there, or did you choose that as a destination to open a gym?
Actually, I'm from the DC area, Northern Virginia area, and that's actually where I met TJ. He's from New York originally, and we were living in Virginia for several years together. And I don't even know, do you want to go into like how we came here?
No, well, like she said, we met in Virginia. I'm from New York, but I moved there in 2012, and I met her in 2014. But by the time we dated for a couple of years, we came down here in August 2016, and I came here strictly to propose and ask her to marry me, and we wanted to get married here. Well, we were going to, but nonetheless, we got engaged in August 16, and when we were here, I looked at her when we were in the British Virgin Islands, and I said, hey, I want to live here. I want to never vacation or have to vacation ever. So she kind of thought I was weird, but my mom thought it was great. So she was all about it. So we went home from our little vacation and had a great time. And then a month later, she looked at me when we were kind of bored at dinner one night, and she was like, let's do it. And I looked at her and I was like, do what? Like, we're sitting here, I'm about to eat wings and regret it. And she goes, let's move to St. Thomas. And I was like, really? Yeah, all right, let's go.
Oh my gosh, I love that, man.
Yeah, so that was in September 2016, and by that winter, we moved to New York and stayed with my family before we came down here. And that's kind of all she wrote by the time we moved that May, but it's been kind of a crazy journey since.
So let's talk about the percent of the population that goes on vacation, these beach destinations, and says, I don't ever want to go home. I just want to stay here forever. That's about 100%. And now let's talk about the percent of people who actually pull the trigger and say,
yeah, who follow through.
I'm doing it. It's about 0.0001%.
Yeah, maybe.
So incredible. So incredible. And looks like everything's going well and you're loving it and it's thriving. Yes?
Absolutely. It hasn't been the easiest. We actually had to go through 2 Category 5 hurricanes in 2017. And that was before we actually even opened up the gym. We had no intentions of ever opening up a gym. We were just kind of winging it. We were personal training, doing boot camps, just doing what we could. And then the hurricanes hit, and there was 2 of them back to back, and where we were living was completely ruined. Wow. Of course, nobody was interested in personal training. We were thinking, what are we going to do? And so that took a really, really huge hit. You want to take over?
Well, the question, before you guys tell that, I have a question. Did you at any point feel like crap, this is a sign. We shouldn't be here. Like, we should just go home. Did you ever
Oh.
feel that?
For me, absolutely.
Yeah.
For TJ, I don't think so, not as much. He's more of a risk taker. I'm more reserved.
Yeah.
And I didn't really quite feel comfortable at that point. We were only here for 5 months living. I love my family. I'm very close with my family and my friends, and I grew up and lived in Virginia my entire life. So coming here and having everything kind of ripped up and it looked like a bomb went off, you knew that it was going to take months and months to recoup. We didn't have a job anymore. We didn't have a house anymore. We had 2 large dogs that, and housing down here to have animals is difficult as is. So I was completely ready to leave, but TJ did not.
I wanted to come back within, I remember when I stayed here for 3 weeks after the hurricane. I slept on my friend's couch. I turned into very sloppy coffee and fireball drinking monster for a couple days. So I got home on September 28th, and I remember being like a prisoner of war. I had lost about 30 pounds, and within about 10 days, I had started thinking about coming back because I realized when I was in Virginia how much I was detached from everyone around me. So she thought I was crazy, though, of course.
I did. We got into a couple arguments, and I didn't even know if it was going to work out, to be honest, because we were in 2 completely different places. It took me several weeks to kind of get on board, and then as soon as we came down, that was like the first time that I was like, this is home. This is so worth it. And then we started the gym. There was no other gym on islands, like April had mentioned, that is clean, that is friendly, that is vibrant, and full of health and wellness professionals. So we thought, you know what, if we just have a space, even if it's a studio style, small space that we can train comfortably, we can train ourselves because that's our #1 passion, and help other people, then it's a win-win. Even if we don't make any money, like if we can just break even, that's way better than having someone tell you what to do and sit at a desk all day. So we went ahead and did that, and it's been such a huge, amazing experience. And the COVID is kind of like a test of round 2 after the hurricane.
For everyone, y'all.
That's what I was gonna say. Like, you've already weathered the storm, pun intended, with the hurricanes. So like, this isn't necessarily like your first bout of bad luck. Yeah.
I wouldn't even consider it bad luck. When we first moved here, I would say that I was in the same boat as Gabby. I really wasn't the most comfortable. I did really enjoy it, but I tried to find a purpose, and I didn't find that purpose until after the hurricane. The hurricane kind of showed me what was really important in life, and that was the relationships I had found. But in regards to bad luck, I would say the hurricane allowed us to see our resilience and to kind of put our backs against the wall. And the idea of the gym became a hurricane idea based off kind of a joke. Yeah. So this whole COVID thing, it's actually easier to handle because we have such a large group of support from our members and our clients. Gabby's training 95% of her clients in some fashion, whether virtual training or going to their house. And I've got a few people that are still coming in. We do have a great support system. So to start the business with no money
or no support
to now where we can make half as much money when someone might not be making any is a huge factor in how we're trying to handle this.
That's massive.
Yeah.
Well, and so like talk about too, like so you're not from there. You move there and you're like, oh my gosh, this place is paradise. I love it. This is a place, this is a destination that thrives off of tourism, right? And obviously, if you have continual clients, you have members to your gym. So those are local people, but still, I'm sure a large percent of your traffic comes from visitors. And then like, had you guys ever owned a business before?
No.
Yeah, like how do you do that? Like,
it was kind of one of those things where we worked for really great people over the years. Even though we were young, like I had a great mentor, and we had met a lot of great people that put us in the right direction and what to expect and work ethic wise. But we didn't even think about it. We just knew what not to do, and we knew that we could learn on the fly and adjust. And it was better than having to take basically oversight from someone else. Like, I'd rather work for myself any day.
Yeah, for
100%.
sure.
Yeah.
So,
So
some
when
of
you
the
moved there-
challenges, oh, go ahead, April, sorry.
No, you go, Shapiro.
Well, I was going to say, like, the challenges, you know, with the hurricane and now COVID, those are obvious. What about some of the challenges of just starting a business? Like, how did you find financing? How did you even get the money to build a gym? Or how, did you just, I mean, you don't even have to.
And it's a nice gym, Shapiro. It's a very nice gym.
It looks like it. I mean, it looks really, really cool. And so you guys are young and, you know, you just pick up and move to a whole new location. How did you guys walk through the process of even starting a business, not ever doing that before?
That was difficult. Yeah, we both had to go back and forth in regards to, you know, you were very skeptical in the ability, but we kind of had to go back and forth, like tell them about how, you know, we didn't really know if we would do it for 3 months. Like, we had signed paperwork.
Yeah, we kind of took a huge leap of faith. And thankfully, there's some people that really, really believed in us. It's just us two, so we are not partnered or affiliated with any other people. We don't have any silent partners or anything like that. Luckily, I have a pretty decent credit score that came out to be extremely helpful when we needed it. And TJ's side of the family, we had a nice little family loan as well.
That's good.
So it was kind of like with everything between those two big factors, it's just those two things, right?
Yeah, so we had those two, you know, she took advantage of her side, and then I reached out to my family and said, hey, this is what we got. I will say, though, that it was not anything close to what we thought we would have needed. When we first thought, oh, we're going to do this, you don't realize that you got to pay like 3 months up front, equipment build out. And I would say the biggest thing that helped us was our contractor and best friend. He owns a construction company down here. He did our build out. And basically we went to him and said, hey, like, we have this idea, we have this money, we have this opportunity. Can you help us anyway? And he's like, yeah, like, and he's been our biggest fan ever since. And he did the build out. We basically gutted this place and then rebuilt it. And we did it in like 10 days. And he basically did it. And in payment to him, I trained him for the past 2 years. And here we are, you know, extremely thankful.
And we traded at cost. So whatever it costs for labor and material, at cost, TJ traded in his PT time, which is, I mean, you can't get better than that.
No,
so
nowhere else.
we're super thankful.
Yeah.
We have interviewed so many business owners over the last couple of years, and it seems like it's a theme almost. Individuals who like have a dream and they're like, we're going to do this. Like, they're just fully committed and they have no experience, don't know what they're doing. The stars just sort of align and the right people are put in their life at the right time. And these connections that maybe they didn't even know these people, but all of a sudden now they do, and they're helping them see this dream to fruition. We keep seeing this story, don't you think, April? It's
I know, yeah, like over and
over.
over.
When you decide, I'm going to do it, I'm committed, I'm in, the universe just gives you what you need. I love it.
Absolutely. And I think that transforms across the board. You know, if you are dedicated and have this vision of you losing 50 pounds, you're going to find a way.
Yeah.
That doesn't mean it's going to be easy or that you're going to have some step backs or anything like that. I mean, it's been tough, but you overcome it and you learn how to overcome it. And that is the greatest thing, which produces more self-confidence and willpower. And so it's kind of like a trifecta feeling. Like you just get that momentum going, and there's so many hurdles, but you just keep going. And our latest hurdle, I mean, obviously with the COVID thing, we decided that we outgrew the space. So we're actually in the process of getting another gym set up, which is a little bit larger. So I mean, with that, there's been so many setbacks with negotiations or setting up the electric and them wanting X amount. And there's just so many things that is not even in my field or his field, that you just kind of have to figure it out, but you just keep going.
In comparison now, doing the second gym, which we are doing currently and are probably about 10 days away from moving into, it's a lot less stressful for me knowing we've both done this before, and the fact of like, hey, like we are making money right now. We're not desperate. We don't need to do anything but let it take its course, and realize that this current situation is a silver lining for us right now. Like, we paid our deposit March 13th, and we were going after the space since early February. So like, we were going all in with whether this was happening or not, but it honestly will possibly be a benefit to us that this has happened in the world for us to move. We're going to move when we're closed without, having to worry about members. So we could really benefit from everything right now and transition smoothly. So when quarantine is over, our members and our future members have a new space to go to.
Man, how serendipitous. Thanks, COVID.
Yeah, exactly. Back to the universe, just sort of the stars aligning.
Yeah, right? Like, that's crazy.
Yeah.
So they both did, or you guys, TJ and Gabby, when you guys, and this is literally purely from me being a creeper on Instagram. So when they were together, like he said, they proposed and then they moved. So you guys got married, what was it, last year?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah,
So
almost there.
they weren't even, you guys weren't even married when you opened a business together. You were engaged, obviously, and you guys have been together for years at that point.
Right.
So you knew that you would get married. But they got married, and so they bought the gym, built the gym, grew the gym. Then they got married, and they did a bodybuilding competition, like trained together and prepped together and did all that. And then, got married.
Next day.
The next day.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then you're like, I don't even know if I like you right now. I haven't had sugar in like 16 weeks. Like, and we're about to get married. Like, what is happening? Yeah, I thought that was super cool too. So like, I definitely want you guys to talk about that.
Yeah, no, the funny thing is it was one of those things that popped up, 2 months before? 2 months for the wedding, like we were like, oh, let's get married, or you brought it up?
Yeah, we were supposed to get married in 2017, but due to the storms, we ended up not getting married. Because everybody was supposed to come down and nobody could come down because the island was destroyed. And then we just kind of pushed it off just because we've been so busy just getting the gym off the ground. And then our tax guy was like, hey guys, like, don't want to say this, come across this the wrong way, but is there a reason why you guys are not married or, haven't gotten married yet? And we were like, no, it's just a time thing. So we didn't
want to do it here either in regards to the, going in and doing it.
Yeah, we wanted my mom and my brothers are super important to me. So we were like, well, we're going to go in 8 weeks to North Carolina and do a show. We're going to be shredded. We'll look great. Why not just get married? So we went ahead and tied the knot the day before our show. So that means, we did not have any cake or celebration until the following day. So it made it more special, for sure.
Oh, for sure.
I wouldn't change any of it.
Of course not. I think, honestly, knowing you guys and knowing, like, what your lifestyle is, the fact that you're gym owners and the fact that you prep together and you go through that prep and then you get married the day before your competition, like, how perfect is that? I don't think that there would have been a better way for you guys to get married. But what is that like? Like, you guys are together all 24/7. So
that's a good
you own a business together. Yeah, you own a business together. You prep for shows together. I mean, you guys were just recently supposed to do a show in Puerto Rico.
Yeah.
Yes.
But that just got canceled 3 weeks ago, 4 weeks ago? Yeah.
Uh-huh.
So you're mid prep, you're prepping for a show that gets canceled. And of course we're all concerned that, or any person in the bodybuilding community right now is concerned about all the shows for 2020 because you just don't know if they're going to get canceled or not. So I want to talk about that too. I want to talk about what it's like to be together 24/7, to prep together, to work together, to live together, to be married, right? And then on top of that, what it felt like going through mid-prep and then your show gets canceled. Like,
That's a lot of togetherness, y'all.
I know.
Well, I think it's kind of been like that since we moved in together. When I first met her, I remember I met her in November. We started dating like legitimately on my birthday in January. And by the time the summer came around, I had, obviously fell in love with her. Obviously, why not? But I remember I told her I loved her for the first time after I had knee surgery and I was high as shit. And I just looked at her and I told myself the days before I wanted to tell her when we went on our first vacation together, but I was a baby and I couldn't tell her. So I was like, I'm just going to tell her after surgery on Tuesday. So I did.
He was super high.
I was super high and I was like, I love you, boo-boo. I love you so much. And she was like, okay, whatever you say.
I ignored him. I pretended I didn't even hear him.
You're like, oh yeah, sure, whatever. You're crazy.
Yeah. But now
it's the morphine.
You're drunk.
So after all that, I knew I'm like invested in this and I really wanted to move in together. And we moved in together the following year. So we met in fall of 2014. We moved in together in 2015. And from the get-go, like we always really spent a lot of time together. We weren't interested in other people. Like I've always been kind of a homebody and I never was the bro that hung out with a group of people. So we kind of meshed really well from the get-go, would you say?
Absolutely. And I was 19 at the time. I was never into drinking, but I wasn't even old enough to go out and party with a lot of my friends. And we just had similar priorities and views, and it was just really easy. And honestly, this past show wasn't the first time that we've prepped together. We've prepped a few times together. Three? Yeah. 4.
Almost every couple times.
And I would say that was TJ's.
The following year we prepped. We moved in together, and then that spring we started our first prep together, kind of just shooting it from the hip, and it worked out really well. And I always told her, like, when we dieted and had a really good time and did really well, that's what made me realize, like, I wanted to marry her, and we were a great team and do stuff together.
And some people don't prep well together, or some does and some don't.
Some days have been rough the past couple of weeks.
Especially
this quarantine has affected everyone.
Yeah, I think, when you place that amount of stress on your body, it's gonna come out, and you have to. We've gotten really good at communication, so I think that's the biggest thing that has saved us, because we never do anything to try to intentionally hurt each other, but it being two human beings, being in close proximity, you're going to hurt the other person's feelings. So it's all about communication and figuring it out, and working together.
Hungry. You're hungry.
Yeah, I was about to say, and you're hungry.
Honest. When you're hungry, you're not nice.
Never.
Oh wait, that's just me. Okay.
No, it's everyone.
It is everyone.
To add to the recent effects of the recent show is we kind of went into it with a lot of high hopes too. I would say we both came in real hot from a really good off season and a great winter, and we had 2019 was really good to us, and we had big high hopes for 2020. And to go back to the silver lining again, I'm way too optimistic at times in regards to I'm not thinking of something outside of the negativity.
Me too, man. Good. Me too.
It's just the way I operate. Like, I get on her if she brings up something, it's like, but we do our own thing. But with the show, looking at it now, I'm still dieting. She's still dieting. We haven't really skipped a beat. If anything, we have a little less stress in regards to what we need to do in a month. We're moving the gym a little earlier. We're focusing on business.
Yeah.
We might both do different shows and come out of it better. And at the end of the day, it's like, it's easier to diet and then not diet in reverse than it is to do a show, have all these emotions and feelings and travel and money and expenses. Now, in 3 or 4 or 5 weeks, I'm going to just stop dieting, reverse, and go the other way and see how it goes, compared to maybe last year when I had a 64-ounce tomahawk steak and 3 pieces of cake, and I never regretted it.
I mean, that sounds
So-
great to me.
I know. I'm like, I'm down for that too.
Right? I want that right now.
I will say that you guys, you look amazing, both of you.
Thanks.
Wow. Yeah.
Oh yeah, for sure. After this, I'll send you their Instagrams. They look amazing.
Okay, cool.
Thank you.
I
Yeah.
appreciate
You
that.
guys really do. I'm in awe and inspired by anybody who has such commitment to their bodies, their well-being. April has been super committed, probably the most committed human in my personal space. And I'm always like, so, I just admire that so much. I go through bouts. I go through periods where I'm like, I'm all in, and then I'm not so all in. But I've never, like the three of you, I've never been that person. So it's admirable for sure.
I
So,
appreciate that.
and yeah, of course. I mean, you guys are like next level.
Yeah.
Do you
Well,
ever-
April, I mean, we've been following you, and we always, when you come up on our feed, I'm like, TJ, did you see April's
Yeah.
post? Like, you're crushing
You're way better
it.
at social media than me.
You're way better than us.
So,
TJ needs a couple of tips.
I was gonna say, if you're still dieting, if both of you guys are still technically on prep, you better take a lot of pictures. I know
Yeah.
you will.
Yeah.
All the pictures. Like, you may not be
I-
on stage, but like, get some self tanner, go outside.
oh, we're getting a lot of vitamin D. Don't worry. We got a lot of free time.
Golly, okay. So let's talk about that too. Like, what is it like on the island right now?
Yeah, I was gonna ask that.
A ghost town? Like,
So I think it's really difficult for us to give a realistic perception besides that it is a ghost town. But for us, our life hasn't changed too much. We come to the gym every day. We work out every day. We go on our walks. We do our business stuff, and we stay productive compared to some. So
yeah.
But all of the non-essential businesses are closed. All the bars are closed. That's going to take a huge hit. Obviously, St. Thomas really depends on the cruise ships. Obviously, that's not happening for a long time.
Cruise ships.
Yes. So a lot of local businesses are going to be not doing so hot for quite a while. I know that the beaches are technically closed. We've been really bad at like sneaking to the beach every once in a while, but it's super important to get that vitamin D.
For sure.
Yes.
And we don't bother anybody. We just go with ourselves. So, but the beaches are supposed to open back up on Monday. So hopefully that'll be a thing. But as of right now, it's just essential businesses, and they have a stay-at-home order in place. Obviously, you can still go to the grocery stores or whatnot. And we've had, it kind of jumped in the last 24 hours. There's been 3 total deaths here. They all are older, have pre-existing injury or pre-existing conditions. One was actually, he was bedridden at home. I knew that didn't sound right. So 85-year-old, a couple people in their 70s. We've actually had way more homicides and suicides. Lots of gun violence happening here. There's 18 total in the last. I think there's 18. It's a lot.
4 suicides.
4 suicides in St. Croix alone within a week period, and then which is outrageous. And then there's several, like,
There's been a handful of shootings.
There's been a lot. So
People are kind of stir crazy. There's a lot going on.
I do
That's
think
what I was going to say. I mean,
Uncertainty just breeds that kind of behavior for whatever reason. And we are going to run out of time. This is going to time us out in about 7 minutes. I know it sucks, but I hate that. But and April knows this, I am not in agreement with shutting down the economy at all. I think because of depression and suicides and so many other factors. And, they keep saying people out there, it's like, well, you can't care about the economy more than you care about people. But I'm like, but people are the economy.
Yeah, the two go together for sure.
Our way of life. It's what gives us our way of life. And when we take that away, people don't know what to do. And people can't feed their families. They can't survive. And that's going to, I think deaths are not justifiable. And that's not what I'm saying. But I do think we're not looking at the big picture from a social perspective and how this is impacting families that can't pay the bills.
Yeah, it's huge. And like in a place like St. Thomas and St. Croix, like and what's St. Lucia? Like
St. John.
St. John. It's like it's so small and it's so heavily dependent on tourists to maintain the economy. Like, and without us being able to go anywhere, you guys can't support your economy. Like it's crazy.
Yeah. But you guys seem like you're doing really well and you're hanging in there. So that's awesome. What is next for you guys? Obviously you're moving into this next gym, which is super, super cool. What else, or what are your other big plans? Are you guys just doing life day by day?
I would say besides the second gym, I would say right before this all happened, we kind of hit a hot streak with some things. We got a lot better at our sales and our verbiage and some of the things we were kind of adjusting on the fly. And I would say February was probably one of our best months in regards to the way we were closing and our clients that we picked up. And then I would love to just transition and do that same thing once people are comfortable to come out and train at the gym. But it'll be interesting to see how the larger space and new atmosphere and new equipment and all that affects us. But I would say just doubling down on what we're good at and focusing on our long-term goals, which are day-to-day at what we do in the first place.
And I would also add that we would love to make Abounader Fitness a destination gym, just like Destination Dallas, and make it a local Caribbean hotspot and attract bodybuilders. And we're receiving more and more. I mean, it's crazy.
Yeah. We've met some really great people in the 2 years we've been here, but it seems like in the past 3 to 4 months, we've really picked up steam in regards to traveling and tourists and recognition and stuff. So I'm really hoping that with these new relationships we've built, we can really double down on being, a regular name for traveling and being in the Caribbean, because the more people get out and visit us here, the more we'll bring to the community of St. Thomas and have people see how beautiful it is here and how great the people are and the culture and everything. So you could, mention, April, like you had a great time here, and it's one of those things where it opens up your eyes on how simple life can be appreciated for the little things just visually.
It was so nice. And trust me, I'm coming back. Don't get it twisted. But that's another thing I was going to say too, is like people who work out, people in the bodybuilding community, we enjoy training. So like, even though, on vacation, of course you're going to enjoy food, but like we enjoy training. So finding a place that has a gym, finding a place that has somewhere that you can go where you don't have to worry about any other obligations during, your vacation, you can go wake up in the morning, go train, get that out of the way. And you guys, like being who you are, so friendly, so welcoming, like perfect customer service, and you're experts. So you know what you're talking about. Like, you're not the bros, you're not those type of people to attract that kind of crowd. And it just makes it that much better. And you don't have to worry about where am I going to go? How am I going to get my cardio in? How am I going to lift on my vacation? Like that is key. That's why places like Tulum and where's the other gym? I think it's, is it Kuwait or is it?
Oxygen.
Yeah. I mean, people go there on purpose because they want to train while they're on vacation, but they also want to enjoy vacation. So that was the biggest thing for me. Yeah.
Yeah. And now that with the move, I think we'll have even more to offer and have a little bit more confidence in putting ourselves out there, because we are a boutique gym right now. We have a limited piece of, I would say, equipment, but we've had some pros and other people here that are like, dude, like you have everything you need, and it's made us more comfortable.
You have everything you need. I mean, Mark Bell would be like, nah, bro, this is what's up.
I appreciate that.
We've got 3 minutes left before this times us out. So I would love to know before we, and Big Girl Pants Pod at gmail.com, if anybody wants to reach out to us, and Big Girl Pants Pod, right? BigGirlPantsPod.com for our website, just in case it goes your way. And times us out. But if you guys can sign us off with just maybe 2 pieces of advice for people who want to do this but can't quite pull the trigger. Any advice for people out there who want your life?
Ooh.
I don't know if anybody wants to work 13 hours a day and all that.
There's a lot of people who want to pick up their life and move to the beach and start a business, and they just don't do it.
I would say if anybody hears anything, it's the fact that when you're when you're in a place like this, you need to realize that it's not a vacation for us. You know, we do go to the beach, we do live our life, but at the end of the day, we bust our butts every day to enjoy it. And that we don't drink, we don't party, we don't do any of that stuff. We enjoy the sun and get out like everyone else, but we have a lifestyle.
And we enjoy it. We're not complaining.
We're not complaining. But don't expect to pick up your stuff and go somewhere like this and live that same vacation lifestyle. It's not how it works.
And I would say if you have anything that you're passionate about, whether it's recording podcasts or getting on social media or whatever, like whatever your thing is, fitness, food, recording food, or whatever your passion is, just do it. Do one small thing and start off with the day. Just anything is better than nothing. We wouldn't have gotten here if we didn't just do it.
Yeah.
And you don't have to be perfect. If you're perfect, you're not going to make it. Like just keep going.
That is awesome.
And you also,
that's what I was looking for.
you gotta want it too, because with the second gym, I personally have been thinking about the second gym since we opened the first gym. So you need to have it in your brain. You're going to constantly grow as well.
Don't stop.
Is this a second destination or is it just a bigger gym?
Bigger gym.
Bigger gym. We're moving.
Yeah, we're moving 2 minutes down the road.
Very cool. Well, you guys, it was so good to meet you. And now I
plug yourself.
want to come and meet you in person. Don't know if I'm going to work out in your gym, to be really honest, but I definitely want to come say.
I will.
I want to meet you. Yes, please come down.
Yeah, I'm so down.
Thank you.
That's
guys
my next
for taking the
vacay
time.
for sure.
I'm getting the thing. It says less than 1 minute, and then
Okay, so
shut
plug
us out.
yourselves. Plug yourselves. How do people find you?
Abounader Fitness, Instagram, Facebook, and we have our own website, Abs by Gabs and Redwood Fit on Instagram.
I'm going to spell it Aboundader.
Yep, Abounader Fitness. Abounader like Terminator.
Awesome, you guys. Thank you so much.
Yes,
Thank you.
Thanks.
Talk
Thank
soon.
you. Bye.
Bye.
Okay, bye.
Bye.
That was so much fun.
I think it's going to stop us.
Is it going to cancel out?